Okay, we are good to go! Happy 3 a.m. I think this is the latest that I have done stream so far. But I was getting an energetic reading at like 11 p.m. and it was a 1 hour slot with the artist, but it went over time and I didn't really pay them extra, but they were like, oh, it's fine, you were my last person of the day anyway, so it's fine. So long story short, I have a very unique artwork that I am gonna be hanging on my wall when that arrives, to do with how my energetic body looks like. I wanted to do that because of a unique picture, and it's funny about how many things I was validated about that I never disclosed to said artist, that she just picked up upon. And I feel so happy that she did, because it's like a confirmation of the things that you were working and doing in this sphere actually worked, because other people that are sensitive to it can pick it up. So yeah. Myrta is a happy bubble, and it took her like 2 hours to come off from that high. I'm still slightly high about it. Like, slightly a lot high about it. Very, very high about it. I went around and posted it everywhere. I enjoyed it, especially in the server that people tend to post these kind of things, especially from the same artist, and it's very interesting to see how different every single individual is. And I am a very special cookie, and I didn't think that I'm that special, but yep, it fits me well. It fits me well. But anyway, Shadows of New York at 3 a.m. I finally reached Big Beat Burger. Stop going over there. I mean, I love the street view, but please stop going over there. Hoping to recuperate from all the mental damage accumulated over the past few days. Only to find out the doors are locked and nobody's inside. No. I need to be soothed. I need my routine. You absolutely got to be kidding me. Closed? What the fuck do you mean closed? I mean, we're in the middle of the pandemic. Everything's closed. Pandemic? What pandemic? You live under a fucking rock. It's the new SARS virus, straight from China. The whole world is going crazy over it. People are dying left and right. Holy shit. I didn't know something like this could still happen in this day and age. Somehow it always felt like we were beyond it. Well, I guess it's lucky I'm dead. I walk away to avoid bringing more attention to myself. I only said that out loud to a completely random passerby for absolutely no good reason. Why? Why would you ever disclose that? It's well beyond me. Now I understand why New York feels downright apocalyptic tonight. It's like a psychedelic experience to see these familiar streets empty and abandoned. Well, let's see what parts of the city are still alive in the middle of a plague. You know, I really hate the fact that they wrote this into World of Darkness, because 1 year on and we're still in it. And I've been talking about this with my energy worker and we both agreed. 2020 feels like we're trying to speedrun 1900s, starting with the Spanish plague and economic collapse at the same time. Now, it's like we're trying to mishmash bits and pieces from like each decade as we see fit. So there's like a lot of wars that happened, and the weather, the energy, the feel of the world feels primed for one, where everybody's very much on edge and very angry. So yeah, turbulent times ahead, watch out! And I didn't need the video game to remind me of that, because that is the reality that I still live, video game. That is the reality that I'm currently living. Not very nice, but at the same time, I always wanted to figure out how would a vampire feed when everything's closed due to a pandemic, huh? An aristocratic taste. All this malaise spread through the boroughs is putting me in a weird mood. Seems like I can't outrun it, so maybe I'll intensify it instead. Smallpox hospital! Here I come! That can't be a good idea, but let's go with it. I entertained the thought of sneaking through a hospital to see how things appeared up close, but it looked like an actual war zone, so I decided against it. I don't know what I expected with the way healthcare reforms have been going in the state. Fewer facilities in poorer areas, fewer beds, less funding. We're just repeating what they sown. That's why I used to honestly consider going back to the old country. An American friend was like, why would you go back to that shithole? Poland's not that bad, you asshole! He was shocked to learn we have a normal free healthcare. Anyway, if an active hospital won't do, this one might. The smallpox hospital on Roosevelt Island. Built to quarantine the poor and the unloved victims of pandemics away from normal citizens' eyes. In spite of its disrepair, maybe partly because of it, the architecture still managed to perfectly convey the building's painful history. There are ghosts here, but they're mostly the good, metaphorical kind. Not the kind I usually see. Looks like there also might be a lone physical being here. I hear some sneaking through the ruins. That's that, my peace and quiet. But oh well, I need to satiate my thirst anyway. Oh, that does seem kind of lucky. I've been exploring a couple of weeks ago when I moved here. I did see a couple of abandoned buildings with a way inside of them. Not that I am gonna go there, but like... I could. So hey, relatable. How do I approach that person? You know what, let's say hello. I move closer to intercept them. I wait behind the corner for a moment and I emerge and I hear their steps nearby. Hi! What? In her panic, she drops something on the floor. It breaks into 1,000 little pieces. God, don't scare me like that. Sorry? Look what you made me do. She kneels to pick up the pieces of some ugly glass sculpture. The shape is familiar. Was that a Scrooge McDuck figurine? Yes, it was. A Carl Banks design. He stopped making these decades ago. Don't even know how long it took me to find it. I was really looking forward to decorating my haven with this. A Scrooge McDuck? It's pop art, okay? Haven! Of course, now I realize what I couldn't put into words. It was the feeling that she might be kindred. She seems airheaded and eccentric, but I wouldn't want to pick a fight with her. Call it a hunch. I apologize. My name is Julia. I'm a Lasombra representative for this city. Some representative you are. Absolutely horrible first impression. Somehow we never met before. You live here? I prefer keeping to myself these nights. More time for hobbies if you hide in secluded places like this. That's such vibes. That is so my vibe, lady. I agree. Secluded locations and villages and places and small buildings and away from the eyes of the others. Yep, that's... I'm a naturally born hermit. What's your name? Just call me Princess. Princess? My true name is for friends only, and after destroying my treasure, I count you as a sworn enemy. When you least expect it, I will find you and I will trap you in reality of eternal pain. I should complain to the court at least, honestly. Tell Helene to start looking for a replacement. Sorry, wouldn't cut it, huh? The dear would surely be thrilled to see Prince Helene assign me with a mission of looking for a rare Scrooge McDuck statue, but I would prefer to avoid that fate, even if it doesn't seem very likely. How can I make it up for you? Should I, like, search for a replacement online, or... Whatever, I'm not gonna lie to you. I prefer to not stay mad for long. It's exhausting and it's a threat to your beauty, both inner and outward. See, I think I'm gonna ask you for a small favor when we're square and I won't have to worry about becoming ugly. Sound good? What favor? See, I'm super into low art these days. That's why I collect stuff like Scrooge McDuck lamps. I used to be hardcore into high art before, studied the harmonic structure of Bach's cantatas, taught myself Arabic just to weep over Middle Eastern poetry, read a lot of Joyce and Adorno, etc. Eventually, these hobbies got boring, as all things do, so I'm switching it up now. Comic books, heavy rock music, modern Hollywood movies, you know, stuff made for small children, basically. Rock music made for small children, basically. Though Hollywood movies, this I kinda agree with. The problem is, I think I'm still not low enough. There's still too much mastery of the true form, too much restraint, too much respectability, too much tastefulness. I want to feel the rush of gazing into the soul of someone willing to admit to truly degenerate desires and obsessions. I want the lowest kind of art you can find. Just sweep me off my feet and it'll be all good. Not the kind of request I expected, but how low is too low? No such thing as too low. Okay. Back when I was alive, I refused advances from a guy who lived just outside of Astoria. Definitely still owns some incredibly low art, but what exactly should I get her? Video games are considered... All of these items are considered art. That's interesting. You know, I understand the artistic field, but like, to me, oh, an anime is an anime. A video game is a video game. When you say art, I will assume painting, unless you like specify, because other categories have like other names, like music is for music. Movies are for movies, but you can have artistic movies, and they're very different than non-artistic movies, and you can definitely analyze every movie for its composition and color and mood and perspective and the angle that it's filmed at and the emotions on actors' face. You can get a lot out of a product, but for me, art is like... Honestly, for me, art is like poetry and paintings. I suppose a lot of things count as art. Do video game streams count as art? I mean, technically songs do. What if you're just providing commentary? Wrestling is a sport, but a lot of the times it also has kind of a lot of acted scenes in it that constitute art. Yeah, just like, I feel like you should not ask Bertha Hart to answer questions, or else she's just gonna be like, what is art? But yeah, okay, an anime DVD. Okay, I'll be back in a jiffy. Takes me just over an hour to get there, wake him in the middle of the night, mess with his head a little, and get back with an appropriately low work of art. Did you at least feed? So I got something. Don't be shy, what is it? I pass her a DVD box with a busty hand-drawn girl licking a giant katana. According to your description you printed for me, this thing is named Ririsu no Daubukin. The cover says Lilith's Carnival. Yeah, no idea why the name is written like that. Anyway, this 90s original video animation presents us with a tale of 5 big-bosomed samurai warriors traveling through America in search of General Hastavista, the Incubus King. Don't let all the titillation misguide you. The main draws here are peerless direction and nearly avant-garde editing, rhythm, and dialogue that coyly comments on traditional gender roles in anime. Once you see the animation in the final battle, you understand why it never fails to set a Sakuga fan's hearts ablaze. Note Sakuga, uncountable, in Japanese anime, a sequence of noticeably higher quality used to highlight a particularly important scene. Yeah, it sure does sound like a low art. Is that flies? Eyes down, I await her response. This is great! It is? Yeah, I have no idea what I'm looking at, but I can feel it's utterly degenerate and naked in its intentions. Just what I needed. Believe me, I've had more than enough of art trying to dazzle or win me over or be used as a stepping stone in someone's illustrious career. I just want someone to be like, screw it! I don't want to impress anyone. I don't want to get anywhere. I just want to vomit out my soul for all the freaks like me to see. I think that in its own way might be an ultimate form of art. So is my debt paid? Yeah, I suppose. Can I know your name now? Let me think. No! Art! She turns away and disappears into the night. Well, that was interesting distraction from all the malaise in the city. Suppose it's time to go back to the miserable business I've been saddled with. Time comes for me to meet up with Kadir and hopefully D'Angelo too. Last position on my list. This better be good. That is D'Angelo's agency. It's like a dump. Oh, I like how they updated the art for this. It's now more purpley. And steamy. Perfect for the clan of the hidden. Thought he wasn't hidden, I thought he was missing, and to be honest, I kinda expected the worst. Why would we look for him in the most obvious place? I've been asking around and I got a hunch. Trust it and start looking. Fine, who's D'Angelo anyway? He's a good man, a useful man, but it took me time to get used to him. Takes sleuthing very, very seriously. His thing is acting like a idiosyncratic noir detective. Heard it helps him cope with something, but I never felt comfortable tackling the subject. Doesn't sound too quirky by the city standards. Wait, what is that? Yeah, I don't... If you're a vampire, I think you're like beyond your ability to comment on quirkiness. Like, I feel like no matter what you would... Yep, it's just... You permanent quirk. Your permanent quirk would be that it like drink blood and you live for forever and you can't see your own reflection. In case of Lasombra, you don't really have a reflection, you have some sort of messed up smudge on every electronical device and you can travel through shadows and quirky. That is quirky. There's a rat on the floor, frozen in a natural position. Weird shit. Examine it. Despite my disgust, I picked the rodent up. Now that's what being an investigator is all about. Leave no stone unturned. Shut up! This is so gross. What have you found out? Take a close, hard look at the rat. It's alive, but from what I see, he's just stretching out and like grinding his teeth without care in the world? That's called bruxing. What? When a rat chitters its teeth, that's bruxing. He's not acting panicked or aggressive, so I guess he's just happy. I don't know, his eyes keep coming out of the socket and going back in. It looks disgusting, like he's in a lot of pain. So he's boggling. He must be really content. How does he know so much about... Never mind. Getting an eerie feeling. Is our Kadir boy Cookie a rat enthusiast? Like, does he like keeping them as pets? Because, oh, that would be just the cutest. This weird man. I have a feeling there's a kindred hiding nearby weird. My thoughts exactly. Kadir slowly approaches the secluded corner of the room. And there it is. It's a pile of clothes lying on the floor. Just a corpse, leave me alone. Lucky for you, we're all corpses here, D'Angelo. You're among friends. Clumsily, drunkenly, the pile of clothes transforms into an unkempt man who looks like he's suffering from some sort of skin disease. You know, a true friend would just bury me. Oh. What happened to you? Unlucky for you, we're not that kind of friends. Lucky, unlucky, schmuckly my ass. How did you guess I was here? See, I've been asking around for the past few days. What I've learned is that for reasons that can be best described as nebulous, you made quite a few enemies since last year. Yeah, tell me something I don't know. And one thing that caught my interest is how everyone has had it on good authority that your place was raided a few times without you being found, yet nobody has assumed responsibility for these acts. Hell, doesn't this den always look like it was just raided? Can't blame anyone for making an educated assumption. Had a hunch that these might be more than rumors. See, it looks like a convenient coincidence when everybody hears somebody that makes them look the other way, and coincidences are for fools. Well, you got my number and you can see my ugly mug right in front of you, so it's no use playing dumb, I suppose. Agreed. You seriously spent all these weeks healed up in you? Is the hunger not getting to you? Got a lot of critters around this area now if we become chums, so if these rats actually got addicted to the kiss. They come to me every night acting like coke hounds begging for it. Oh, Jesus Christ! I actually have questions right now. One of my questions is how do you bite a rat without killing it from blood loss? In Bloodline's terms, a single rat has at most like 1 blood point. These creatures are so empty, and that's if you empty out the rat. Like, do you just tap it with a tooth and lick it once? I mean, it's a very small creature. Very small creature. Been getting them drunk just to get some rush out of feeding on them. Feels a bit like slathering a horribly burnt piece of pizza and ketchup, but in this situation I'll take what I can get, you dig? It's so gross I failed to keep my poker face, he notices. So who's the dame? Julia Savinsky, a detective investigating Baron Callaghan's death. He raises his head for a short while to stare in Kadir's eyes and treat him with a vulgar snicker. Ooey! So somebody has finally put the old man on ice. Whoever did it did the world a huge favor. Absolutely, but I got orders to establish who that was. I've been stumbling in the dark for the past few days. Need your help. I'll be damned! Your sleuth skills must really not be up to par if you're begging a bum for help. Hey, have some dignity! D'Angelo, Cookie, don't put yourself down. It's perfectly valid to have a haven where you have your haven. Would normally even have like a nice little office corner. I mean, technically, majority of kindred are kinda homeless because not all of them will have like houses or apartments. A lot of them will be living in abandoned buildings because if you're dead, you don't really need for all the conveniences that you can have. They're just nice to have. He's just so sorry to look at. Dignity. Spare me, kiddo. Got all the dignity I need right. Oh shit. God, what happened to you, Johnny? Never seen you this low before. Stress-related disorders causing a disruption in my routine is what I think a shrink would say. Happens when a lot of shady folks are out to put a stake through your chest. Help us out. Tell us what you know, and we might be able to help you in return. Yeah, respect where it's due, miss, but I think it's going to be The other way around. I ain't telling the two of you shit, pardon my French, until I know I can count on some protection. Gianni? Don't you Gianni me, Kadir Al-Asmai? I know you're level, but I also know that your honor is one of the few things you care about. If you want me to endanger myself, you put it on the line for me. And that's that. You either promise to extend your protection to me, or the moment you step away from here, I sneak away into the sewers, and that's the last time you ever see me. I know, he drives a hard bargain. Especially for someone whose sense of self-worth does not exactly appear to be sky-high at the moment. Maybe, but I do value my own life quite a lot. Thank you very much, friends. Fierce eyes. Alright, but 3 months from now, or the moment Prince Panhard tells me it's no longer possible for the court to offer you safety without compromising its principles, you're on your own. The negotiations, that's the only deal I can strike with you. Take it or leave it. That's Jake with me, big fella. I might have strong opinions about Panhard, but how I'm sitting on dynamite, I'll take what I can get. Who else in New York would you rather rely on? You want me to call the mayor? My opinions about the prince aren't that bad, so what do you folks want from me? Who wants you dead? Ah, starting the interrogation with a tricky one. Wouldn't I like to know? Step up, Gianni. You seem to be forgetting how quid pro quo works. Wouldn't I like to know, won't cut it. What can I tell ya? That warlock, Agathon, or whatever his name is, presumed dead. Hamika, missing in action. With a sigh on her back, so possibly killed in action by now. Hope the cook? Hidden in her office under Warden Viden's skirt. Around the time they started having trouble, some rough-looking streetwise kindred started hanging out at my usual spots. Didn't take me long to connect the dots. Wait, what is the connection between you and those three? Ever since last year, folks started hiring us for various gigs, some even trying to get us to join their coteries. All of these opportunities were rather short-lived. However, the delicate tightrope act of working for various employers made us fully aware there's an intra-sect alliance in New York. Kindred from both sides often work for the same goals without knowing it. The moment we started figuring it out, a cleanup crew went downtown. I know the serious warlock boy sniffed something out in his own backyard, but then poof, he disappeared. Then I lost all contact with Hope and Tamika and went AWOL. Hope they're doing fine, and they didn't snitch on me to anybody. They are, and they didn't even tell me you guys knew each other, so I think you're safe. Huh, wait a second. Why were you milking him for intel, kiddo? Found a list of 4 names on Kagan's remains. You can probably guess what they were. I get the picture, yeah, Christ almighty. Heard it was just like a list of freelancers, potential associates, probably prepared by Carter Vanderweiden. My money is on him being involved, but I smell bullshit. You got any idea who might have done the bossing? Any more clues? Not at all. That's why we want you to come in, friend. Investigate the murder scene the way only you know how. Tell us what you think. Guide Julia in the proper direction. Sure, whatever. I will try my best, kiddo. Lead the way. Drive you there, or at least as close as possible. I wouldn't be welcome to deep in Anarch territory. Just clean yourself up a bit, Gianni. Had my upholstery cleaned earlier this week. Ah, magic mirror. His nice magic mirror again. Oh, I love Kadir's magic mirror. You know, if our nice little bright young warlock smelled tomfoolery going on around his own backyard, it's probably Tremere that did it. Don't think any of they 4 did it. And if we're gonna assume poor Agathon to be very, very much dead, when I get the question of who done it, I kind of feel like I should just say Agathan. The guy's probably already dead, unfortunately. I suppose it shows that, if you find an interdependence happening inside a society as dangerous as politicking vampires, keep your mouth shut. After dropping us off at the same place, Katherine first introduced me to Mia. Quadir quickly drives away. Here we are. Swell! A classic closed room mystery. Let me take a look. I feel like we should have started with D'Angelo, considering that it's now at least 4 days since we've been on the scene. And there was a sweep of the scene before we came to the scene even. We're already like a day late. You're saying you're basically a nobody, but you can simply call Katherine Wise and have her open sesame and Anarch crib for you? Dunno, sure sounds like somebody to me. Don't misunderstand, I only met her during the course of the investigation. Everybody's basically been treating me like dirt wherever I go, and I'm only acknowledged enough to legitimize this sham Lord Castlereath. Now that was an abrupt interruption. I was busy sharing, goddammit. Excuse me. Oh, we look... Is that just Julia's resting face? Because we look properly pissed. Well, you know one thing, Julia could do with dressing more proper for a Lasombra. Because she just looks like she likes street clothes. I mean, look who's speaking. I am dressed in a very long, singular dress with beautiful sleeves. But it's about as theatrical as you can get in the 21st century, for these are not the kind of clothes that people go to work with. Actually, I stand corrected. There are people that are very historically inclined and will be doing recreations of a lot of different styles of clothing, including the Regency clothing and medieval clothing and some such, and they will wear them in their homes. So you can end up looking even more outrageous than I do, so judging clothes styles by me is probably not the right. It's I suppose I'm trying to say that it's probably a very hypocritical thing to do. Because it is. But I feel like she has been wearing the exact same outfit since the day she died. And her shirt really weirdly exposes her bra. And I feel like a Lasombra ought to take better care of her dress style, especially a Lasombra that's immediately taken as a Sombra primogen. I mean, I know that it's just for show, but still. But her facial features and resting bitch face, very scary, very appropriate. I met Murder on the way. He had a mask like Castlereath. Very smooth he looked, yet grim. 7 bloodhounds followed him. I still don't follow. I never knew the old Irish coot was into the Napoleonic era. But then again, I've no idea about his exact age, of course, so maybe that's when he lived, or was born. Anywho. Hey, minimal attention to me, alright? Who am I looking at here? Right, that's one Lord Castlereath, born as Robert Stewart, a British Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs at the beginning of the 18th century. Incredibly influential, incredibly hated. Ask one fellow about Castlereath and he'll tell you he was the man who destroyed Napoleon for good, the man who shaped British politics for ages, the man who built foundations for European unity at Vienna. Ask another fellow and he'll tell you he was the man who destroyed the Irish Parliament, the man who cracked down on any possibility of reform, and then supported the cavalry massacring peaceful protesters. I have to say, it's downright perverted for an Irishman to be put up Castlereath's portrait in his office. Definite proof that our victim was sick in the head. Ah, as if we needed more evidence here. Probably idolized him too. Maybe identified with him even. Yeah, that's possible. Elgin and his ilk adore these jagoffs who strive to create across the aisle and achieve hard compromises. Don't wanna consume all of my candle. I was planning to buy more anyway. Really like candles, in case you couldn't notice. I also love staring at the smoke going away. And when you blow it out. My husband walks into my room often and goes, "Ah, it stinks like candles in here." And I'm like, "I know, it's great, isn't it?" And then I walk into his, and it smells like smoke. So, you know, to each his own. You bet nobody else ever remembers them well. Oh, so that was his role model, huh? Pressing his own people, claiming it was all in their name, when at the end of the day or tonight, they're still were back in the shitter and he was still on top? Yeah, sure, sounds familiar. 200 years later, all these societal changes and it still works the same for us kindred? That's a cheery thought. Not just the kindred, that's still how the world works, period, kiddo. Hello, Jade! It's good! I have ordered myself a rug. It's gonna be delayed because coronavirus bullshit. Ordered myself a specially commissioned painting as well. And that will probably also be delayed because of coronavirus bullshit. So I still have things that are just gonna be arriving at some point, but yeah, I'm sitting on a metal chair now, and it's actually incredibly comfortable. I'm also dressed in a dress that reaches my toes, and it's bloody amazing. And I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you've seen, but the specially commissioned drawing that I just said about, the one that's gonna be hanging in my room, it's gonna be the energetic portrait of me, which is what I had done today, and it was such an incredibly validating experience, and I was telling it to my husband, and he obviously believes that I am off my rockers, which is, I don't blame him for that. I honestly don't blame him. But apparently his mother is the same, and apparently she would share her crystal collection if I asked about it. So I'm kinda happy about that. And yeah, that's pretty dang cool. And it was so funny because the artist was like drawing it, and she was just saying things such as, "This is my energy stream." And she was like, "I never seen anyone have energy come in through their eye chakra. Like, do you have a deal going on or something? Because that is very unusual." And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Okay, you can't hold on for telling me. Tell me at the end so that I don't get confused." And yeah, I have a deal effectively with Lucifer. If I give him a daily prayer and he gives me energy, and I feel absolutely amazing. And she was like, "That's why that energy stream is so calming, and it really balances you." And I was like, "Yeah, I feel really balanced and energetic." And she's like, "If it works, it works. Hey, I know a lot of people that work with those entities." And I'm like, "Yay, I'm not getting judged. That's nice." Yeah, that is, in energy readings, apparently that is very unusual. And how she described it is that I have like antenna, I'm very like head heavy, and my antenna is kind of tuned into the entities that I'm working with, but I can use these tiny feelers and tune them into any kind of things that are around me because I'm slightly sensitive. Yeah, And this is how I vent energy. Like normal people, they ground through the feet. The things that kind of look like wings, that's because good old Marta has been validated in her feeling that she does not have energetic feet, therefore cannot ground like that. Yep, I'm one of them floaty people. I do not have energetic feet, therefore I can't ground like that. So effectively, if I have excess energy or I need to get rid of it, I do it through my shoulders. And I was asked if my shoulders are like super strained. And I was like, yeah, because of how scoliosis surgery works, effectively I can never relax my shoulders. Yes, soldiers. So I actually have 2 energetic points that developed on my shoulders, and I have an extra thick connection there just because what my physical muscles are doing. Energy sponge! What's that like? As in, you never vent energy? Because remember, I am an energetic vampire. And she zoomed in. I am disconnected, and she was like, have you made any dealings with anyone that would like put your soul somewhere else after death? And I was like, not that I know of. No. Because she was like, tiny bit of energetic damage would you have disconnected, so that must have happened only a lifetime or 2 ago. And I'm like, so a lifetime or 2 ago, if you were to believe this Berta has made the decision to not be connected to the rest of the humans and disconnect from the eternal circle and be more herself instead of just getting mixed, moshed with others again, which kind of means that I also don't get fed energy like the rest of the people do. So just like other energetic vampires, there is no connection between me and the nice energy pool that all the people can use. So I found a solution, and it can be seen. And when she saw my solution, that felt so validating. Yeah, I actually don't know how to take in energy. And that's what I was saying to her, and she was like, I was awakening when I was in college, and that's what she said. And I would go to concerts, and I couldn't place why it's only in concerts that I would feel better, and I felt like really bad and really tired, and I kept on eating, and I would never feel full. And yeah, I've been taking ambient energy, and it's like, me, I feel like I've never been taking energy, and I've just been going downwards for like 10 years in my health, and then I connected myself to Lucifer, and I suddenly feel healthy and alive and energetic, and this is freaking amazing. So the fact that she saw that felt so validating. And apparently I also have energy workers' hands, because normal hands are supposed to finish here, and she's like, you have quite the energy fingers. You can feel through walls. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was such a amazing and validating experience that I absolutely loved it. And the artist took extra long with me as well, because I technically paid for 1 hour of her time, and we went for like 1 hour and 40 minutes. But she was like, hey, I really enjoyed it because your energetic body was quite unique. And we had a nice conversation. It was the end of her workday anyway. But anyways, I'm over the moon because that was such a great validating experience. And it was absolutely amazing. And any people that don't have the same belief system as me, which is absolutely fine, thinks that I'm fucking bonkers. But anyway, I ordered that. from like a photo printing thing, and that's gonna go onto the wall. And the artist kind of laughed that when people come along and go, "Hey, that's beautiful," you can answer with yes. Why, yes, I am. Why, yes. Yes, I am. But anyways, in the game, we are handling investigation again with D'Angelo, which is quite a sad and depressed cookie that has been being hunted for quite a while. And yep, that is absolutely perfect. Like, this is me on the wall. So, if you ever believe in this kind of thing and want to get your own energetic reading, I propose doing it for that exact reason of you're gonna get it, then you're gonna print it, then you're gonna put it on the wall as a unique artwork, and when anybody gets to be like, "Hey, that is pretty," you're like, "Yes, yes, I am. I am very pretty indeed." And going back to the game, I have no idea how. It is a really, I know I thought that up myself. I have no idea how is D'Angelo gonna see any insight into this situation 4 days after we took a look at this scene. Once the bourgeois established themselves, you gotta completely reset the rules of the game, and a few years later do it again and again and again until you're dead or deader than dead. If that doesn't sound fine by you, you can always just join folks like old boss over here or accept the invisible noose that's getting tied around your neck every single night. Posterity will ne'er survey a nobler grave than this. Here lie the bones of Castle Wreath, stop traveler and piss. Hey, at least D'Angelo is having a good night right now. I am kind of disturbed that they never moved his corpse though. I suppose investigation's still in place, but still, damn, they just left the poor man's bones there. Aww. I'm sorry, Jade. And yeah, feel free to just lurk. It's like 3 fucking a.m., but I was a bit busy. I mean, I was a bit buzzing from the whole energy reading thing because it was very exciting and it was very nice and I liked having that experience, so I'm very happy about it, and so I am going around telling everybody that will ever listen that that's what I did. But anyways, so afterwards I was like, I don't need to wake up on a Saturday. Waking up on a Saturday is optional. Let's stream at 3 a.m. That is a positively amazing idea. And here I am. Here I am. Aw, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. I've been hanging around a lot of practitioners of various degrees and various levels and doing various different things. So I've been in good sort of crazy company, and everybody has their own belief systems, and that is fine because you learn to work with them and work, around them because everybody's different, and that is absolutely perfectly fine. But then you exit that witchcraft scene, exit that occult scene, and you tell that to absolutely any human being that's perfectly normal, like my husband, and they're like, you have lost your marbles. And it's like, I can precisely see why you would say that. Yep, I know. Yep. So I know how that feels, but he was like, hey, what you are doing is completely harmless. You're not really harming anybody. You're not running around demanding that people conform to your worldview. So I have absolutely no problem with that. And I'm like, yep, that works for me. That is the best that I can expect from not an occultist. And he kicks his bones with glee, causing me to jump a little. Is he still under the influence? Yeah, maybe moving the crime scene is not a good idea. Isn't that tampering with the crime scene? I know, Julia. I know. As far as I can see, the crime scene has been fucked with 3 times over. Can't really be ruined more than it already was. I agree, but it looked about the same the last time I was here. And it was already a total mess before you even got here. Whatever. Light-proof. Have you toyed with these? No, in general I avoid machinery like that. It doesn't like me and I don't use it. They don't like it? They don't work properly. It's like I give technology an allergy. Sometimes industrial cameras mess up my face. Sometimes I can't use a phone. You would think it could be useful, but it's just a curse. I see. You think those blinds could have been the murder weapon? Yeah, I did wonder about that, but I mean, his corpse was like across the room. Would make sense, wouldn't it? Let's say for some reason, our stiff was standing there as the sun was rising. Maybe staring at poor old Castlereath, looking for a soulmate to accompany him to the other side. And another guy pushed to suicide by politics, pretty old school, romantic, yada yada yada. Or maybe it was torpor, maybe it was a freak accident, or maybe it was premeditated. In any case, sunlight would be perfect murder weapon, no? Well, that's just my theory anyway. I like the fact that the writing said he takes off his mask, and he actually did take off his mask. And I do think that the mask really fits him. And I love the fact that he's wearing a big skeleton on his shirt. That is pretty awesome. Well, it sounds... Does it? Because I was just spitballing. Practically impossible to make certain now, kiddo. Most logical cause of final death would be damage to the heart. And that can easily be done without damage to the skeleton. That's safe. Anyone made a crack at it yet? As far as I know, only Kagan knew the code, and the safe itself is pretty hard to crack. What about the list of names? Couldn't Kagan have somehow used the list of names to code his safe? I mean, I don't know why you would do that, actually, Myrta. That is a completely, absolutely dumbassery idea, because, you get a list of random... Oh, hello! Nice to see you here. We're just doing Shadows of New York stuff today. And then we're investigating a case. And we're pretty close to finishing all our suspects, which means that we're pretty close. The final act, but I probably won't be doing the final act tonight, for I am probably gonna be really dead, and it will be a lot closer to like 2 hours streamed, which is about the amount of hours streamed that I do a stream, especially when I start streaming at 3 AM like a dumbass. Watch me, kiddo, D'Angelo says. So I was like spitballing that maybe he used a random list of neonates for hire as his friggin' safe password, because the list was on him and the safe was there. But then I was like, no, that's absolutely stupid. Also, is that the safe? Because if it is, that's freaking huge. Stop clowning around. You're a safecracker now? When you're cursed with countenance such as mine and you decide on a job such as mine, you gotta be a jack of all trades. Yeah, still, but it sounds pretty hard. Last year there was a random feller visiting a heritage museum in Alberta. He found a safe that hasn't been opened in 40 years. Not a single specialist, not even a blacksmith could have handled it. Well, good morning to you, Subaru. Subaru? Sue. I'm amazing at pronunciations, but yes, it's 4 AM here right now. And a lot of people that watch me are like 6 hours behind me because they're in America, so a lot of people are watching me at like 10 PM, which is a lot more reasonable. But hey, it's Saturday! Technically don't need to be awake tonight. The man just studied the numbering, listened closely to the mechanism, attempted the most sensible combinations, and voila, the unthinkable happened. That's where just trusting your instinct leads you. Too bad he found nothing inside but an old pay sheet. One of these was... Okay. Good to know. So it's either Subaru or Subaru. I'm great at stressing. Sleep is for the weak indeed. Well, sleep is for those that have work the next day, which I do not. For the next day is Saturday, which is today, where it's 4 AM. And it looks like we got the same case here. Confetti, a few random papers scattered around, but for what it's worth, the lock was obvious. Traces of mechanical manipulation, probably recent too, reeks of foul play. But what do we know for sure, really? I'm done here. You can take over. I haphazardly wrap everything that's left inside the safe and hide it on my own person, then close the door so that nobody knows while he managed to crack it. Okay, Subaru. Fair enough. Got it. When I turn around, he's motioning me to come closer to a sheet of paper lying on the desk. If we're gonna present this case as like solved and asked who we think that's done it, isn't the fact that we just raided a safe teeny bit suspicious? So yeah, kiddo, you probably know the entire beeswax about Frodingo's cat, so I'm not gonna bore you with that, but honestly, anything could have happened here. This place is wired. Okay. I guess now I know why there were things in the safe, but he was saying that their things weren't in the safe. He was hiding the fact that we're taking. And I suppose I understand all the winking. It gives me chills. I think I'm okay. I tried to record my own voice a bunch of times with different hardware just to see if I can. It mostly comes out as noise. Best strategy would be to make an educated guess about what happened here, then interrogate everybody about it. Maybe you'll take someone by surprise, drop a hook on them. The wire trap is a chip in the broken glass bottle on the floor. Absolutely sure it belongs to Kaiser. I understand. I think I have an idea how to use it to find him. Should I notify Qadir? So yeah, I'll be meeting up with Qadir. You stay here, sister. Maybe there's something you've been missing. You're Khal Dol, going beyond his jurisdiction, so he will try to stop you. Whatever you do, just give me a 10-minute heads up. You know, so I can get to relative safety. For sure. Back into the sheriff's custody for me. See you around, Julia. Sorry, this old codger couldn't have been more help. Whatever I got was plenty. See you around, D'Angelo. I got a plan. All I need is to execute it as a clueless bystander. This guy will do. Do you, need me for anything else? Not really. Better take a hike before the guy you just called shows up. Can't guarantee he won't make you hurt. Will do. Might have messed with his head a little too much using my Willy Kindred charms, but I need him to tell Kaiser where I want to meet quite clearly multiple times. I would have given him the kiss as thanks at least, but I told the man I won't be here all night and that he comes to better hurry up, so I want to be ready whenever he comes. As a thanks, I would bleed ya. As a thanks. Is this how thanksies work? I mean, I know that it feels nice, but damn, that's one heck of a thanks. Less than 15 minutes later, a menacing black limo takes a fast, sharp turns onto my street and stops right in front of me. Suddenly, something like a Acid flashback hits me. I know he's a Slimo. I've seen it around all over the past few days. Never thought it might be tailing me. So it must have. Looks like I'm finally about to get some answers. Get the fuck in, Sovinsky. There he is, Kaiser, the king of New York City's information highways, surrounded by screen speakers and newfangled technological gizmos of all kinds. I see no Kaiser in here. I just see the limo. I have a feeling that Kaiser failed to load. Oh, hello, Kaiser. Nice to see you. First impression, he's one repulsive son of a bitch. D'Angelo was also a sewer rat, and he might have had similar physical disadvantages, but at least he was wholly endearing. With this guy, there's no room for any kind of sentiment. He's inhumanly cold, and I get the feeling he's been like this for ages. You're getting on my nerves, little lady. I'm far from being the only one. Get the sense he meant for all of this to be threatening. Instead, I'm elated. After a week of running around like a headless chicken, unsure if I was getting anywhere, finally I get a compliment. If there's one thing I learned back in Lodestar, it was that you only know you're doing your job correctly when someone powerful gets visibly mad. I have no idea what you mean. No need to play dumb, especially considering you're a natural. The art hole, double spiral, you see Torque's den. How does it feel to have made enemies absolutely everywhere? Listen, I will speak as plainly as humanly possible to get this through your little head, since it's obvious you're not willing to read the obvious signals. You were hired for one thing and one thing only, little. Suck at your job, and you couldn't even do that correctly. People keep stopping by my limo this week, telling me, Kaiser, dear Kaiser, we keep trying to make her understand how hopeless she is, but she just won't get a clue. She doesn't have any evidence, she doesn't have any testimony, but she still goes around knocking on everybody's doors, causing disturbances. It's such a fucking headache. Usually I try my be a jovial host, so I cheer them up. She's not that much of a dunce, I say. Making mountains out of molehills to make herself seem useful, I say. She's about to stop. But you and your infinite idiocy decided to prove me wrong in the most spectacular fashion by knocking on my very own door, forcing my hand, threatening me even. Are you autistic or something? Can't you read fucking basic clues? Stop for 1 second and ask yourself, cui bono? Who even fucking wants you to solve anything, let alone this case? See, this city has a delicate system set in place. Usually it's flawless, but ever since you started tinkering with it, it's been having these irritating malfunctions, driving people. Are you done? Quite right, Julia? Quite right? I mean, look what we did in that week. D'Angelo obviously likes us because he disclosed that this place is wired. At the crime scene for Tamika, we helped her get out of town, so she has no bad feelings whatsoever. Agathon's dead. He's not gonna be upset. I mean, Eileen might be, but she's not gonna go to Kaiser about it. Pretty sure that she feels very secure in whatever castle that she has dug herself into. And Hope might have been irritated, but she seemed to have been very open and honest with us. I think outside of eating the former double spiral CEO, Hope is probably a pretty nice person. Unbelievable. All I'm hearing is that you're in possession of some information that might help me solve the puzzle I was presented with. If that's the case, I'm going to ask you to share it. I swear, you're absolutely irredeemable, you fucking garbage dump of a woman. How do I get through all the rubbish in your head to drive my point in? Don't you know who I am? Well, you're the one who had Callaghan's place fired. Shh. For Christ's sakes, woman, get real. Even if your accusations were correct, then who, pray tell, who would you report them to? Do you even know what kind of people I answer to? No. Care to acquaint us? Is that really what you want? You want to know who pulls the strings? Give me 10 minutes and I can arrange a meeting, but this is your last chance to turn back. You don't, I can tell you now, you're going to be very sorry. Big Kahuna, finally, now we're talking. Yes, the Big Kahuna. So this is your final answer, huh? Absolutely. Unbelievable. Might be dangerous, yeah, but at least I will finally get a clue of what's going on. Just saying, this is a point of no return. My boss doesn't fuck around. Best case, you're going to beg him to take you in. Whatever. He keeps grumbling under his breath, but I'm not even listening. I just watch the streets go by. Now, I kinda have a feeling that Kaiser is fucking with us because Kaiser is pretty old. Kaiser is pretty old, and he tends to be like the rogue agent that works a bit for everybody. It tends to be an autarchist, which is unaffiliated. Everybody in New York is pretty young, and it seems like it's a closed system. Like, if I was to guess who took out Callaghan, probably Eiling. Probably Eiling. I mean, Panhard had him in his pocket. In her pocket, rather. So unless he was making moves, it wouldn't happen, Panhard. But Eiling was talking about a whole bunch of, like, suspicious shit. And her own childer was getting suspicious. And then he disappeared. That's why I'm like, probably that. But I don't think that there's anyone like super old in New York pulling the strings. Everything that I saw about New York so far makes me think that an old person pulling the strings in New York just does not exist. So out of the blue, I experience a strong sense of foreboding. First spot her in the corner of my eye. She's hovering right next to Kaiser with an expression that's impossible to discern, and she speaks. Her voice is machine-like, yet otherworldly. Fine, we're 5 minutes away or so. Get the boys ready to give her the Mel Gibson special. We're 5 minutes away. Gotta start figuring out the ways you might prove yourself useful to the honcho. There is no honcho. Oh my god, of course this motherfucker is setting me up. Need to get out of here now. I do the first thing that comes to my mind. I grab the door handle and pull. He notices me scrambling and struggles to grab me. Hold up, you stupid fucking cunt. Yep. I thought so. There's nobody old in New York pulling the strings. That's quite obvious. Kaiser himself is pretty old. And Kaiser himself could be pulling the strings if he wanted. I think he grabbed me. I think he tried to pull me back in. I think we fell out of the limo. I think his body cushioned my fall. But I'm struggling to process what's going on. It's like I'm blanking out. When I come to, he's already attempting to get up, cursing under his breath. The limo has stopped a little further in, but whoever the driver is, he's not coming out. Fucking. When he stands up, he will be out for vengeance. He's an older vampire who knows how strong he is. I need something that will give me the advantage. Pepper spray, of course. Probably won't be as effective as it would be on a living person, but it's still worth a try. Lift toward the asshole, disarm the device, aim towards his eyes, and load the entire canister. Okay, unloading a canister of pepper spray into vampire's eyes still works. Vampire hunting tips, everybody. It worked, it actually worked. Keep the offensive. I punch him, kick him, throw him around, I pummel him, I smash his head against the curb, I struggle to harm him in whatever way I can, like a frightened animal. Don't know how long it lasts. Might be 1 minute, might be an eternity. Driver steps out of the limo to help his boss, but once he sees what I'm doing to him, he runs away in a panic. Feels good. Feels absolutely horrible. Once I'm done, I sit on the curb and scream my lungs out to avoid crying. Then I look at him. Oh, jeez. Be fair, Kaiser doesn't look that bad after getting beaten up. Maybe it's just like another angle of his face. Normally he has this kind of very waxy appearance, like his skin can't move. And mouth that goes on for far too long. And now he looks a lot more human. He looks like, I could see where his features came from. He seems shocked, barely hanging on. I know what I've done was extremely stupid. I did hear how he's one of the most influential figures in the city, so I beat him up. But that's probably why he never expected to get his ass whooped, especially by someone like me. When he speaks again, his voice is pathetic, surprisingly close to a whimper. You'll pay! You'll fucking pay! You lost, misled, and abandoned property of a woman! He's unwell, talking nonsense. I approach him again. You wanted to have me whacked. What, do you think I'm stupid? It needed to be taught a lesson. Well, would you look at who ended up teaching who? Now talk. Tell me everything you know about Callaghan's final death. All of it. Go to hell. You fucked me up however bad you want. I'm still not gonna tell you shit. Try anything, there will be consequences. There will be retribution. From whom, Kaiser? From your setup systems? I mean, I know that you definitely probably have setup systems. I know that you definitely are probably important for this town, but like, person that cares about Kaiser the most is Kaiser, and if Kaiser's dead, then Kaiser can't care about Kaiser. Of course, killing another kindred wouldn't go down really well. And he is gonna be very, very angry about getting his ass whooped, but... Yep. I approve. My mouth is shut. He might be my last chance to solve the case, but if I don't force him to talk, he won't. There's a burgeoning thought in my mind, but it scares even me. Do I dare to push him to the edge, make him suffer until he squeaks? Time to evil. I'm sure you will open your mouth if I do this. I put his shin against the curb. Which body part is shin? I mean, I know what body part is chin, but shin. Oh, it's like the thing that's like right next to the ankle. Well, that sounds unpleasant. Wait, what? And kick with all my strength. The compound fracture. I barely managed to suppress my gag reflex. It feels like I'm disassociating. You fucking psycho. You fucking psychotic bitch. He's actually weeping, like a child. Totally shatters the tough image he was trying to project earlier. Like this is the first time anyone has ever used physical violence against him. What if it is? You either start talking or the other leg goes. Then hands. Then I will get creative. I tried to collect myself and put his other leg against the curb. I'll talk. I'll fucking talk. The gig connects. It's a light one. A sadistic fight. Still manages to get a pathetic whimper out of him. Then talk. But this had better be good. You wanna know who was in Callaghan's office before he died, little lady? Everyone. Fucking everyone and their mother was there. Van der Weyden, Eiling, Arturo and Panhard, the Khmer douche motherfucker Torque with his sidekick, all of them. Callaghan thought that the only way out was to pit them all against each other or to ally with every single one of them. Little did he know, it was in all of their best interests for him to just fucking die. That's good, that's great, but who killed them? I have no fucking idea. That won't do. You fucking say this! You fucking monster woman! I really have no idea! Who kept complaining to you about me? Who is responsible for getting rid of the evidence? Everyone did. Goddamn Callaghan had dirt on everyone and antagonized everyone, so it took everyone to fucking bring him down. All the evidence is gone. Every theory is equally true, so none of it is. Don't you see, you fucking cunt? Everyone is complicit, so nobody is. Why the fuck do you think Sophie Langley is no longer around? Ah, okay, so Sophie got whacked a long time ago. Why is Torque no longer pretending to be a revolutionary? Why are free agents involved? Why are they shutting you up tomorrow? Shutting me up? Who? Can't you connect the dots, you dumb whore? What are you, a fucking retard? Somebody's about to... Julia! Bloody hell, what is wrong with you? Good dear. You're out of control. This is why I didn't want you to get involved. I had a hunch. Hunched that the moment you get a whiff of true power, all brakes will be off. Look, you're talking nonsense. You're out of your damned mind. I should have you in for potential Masquerade breach. Just let me explain myself. This fucky fucker tried to have me beaten, maybe even killed. Don't you care about that? I have no idea, Sheriff. No idea. She's dangerous, psychotic. Ah, yes, you would say that. You would say that, Mr. Nosferatu bleeding out on the floor over here. Shut the fuck up. My fucking leg. Stop this right now, you goddamn idiot. I will take care of you in a moment. In my car, Kaiser. Hold on. Not done questioning him yet. It looks like there's major conspiracy too. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. And you're gonna be glad I leave it at that. You do that, I'm gonna have to assume you're complicit. That's worth 2 strikes in my book. You don't want to risk a 3rd. So that's that. Tell me what was all of my footwork even for? Can you hear this? Go home, Julia. But go home. Fine, I will. Before I do, I take a quick peek into Kaiser's limo, still abandoned a little further down the street. Skip the church visit again tonight. I want more time to finish this report. Who knows? It might be my final one. Want to spend more time with Dakota. Yeah, just forget about the rest of the world. A lot happened tonight, but I can still manage to be at your apartment an hour earlier than usual. She should be glad. Sneak into the apartment as silently as possible, trying to surprise her. When I reach the bedroom, I see something unexpected. It hits me like a ton of bricks. At the beginning, I can't properly parse the sight, but when I finally understand what I'm looking at, it causes a wave of terror and disgust to swell up inside my chest. What the fuck? She's shocked to see me, doesn't know what to do. She's like a deer in headlights, or a schoolgirl poorly trying to hide her misdeeds from a teacher. Early. Yeah, I am. These are my clothes, Dakota. These are my cigarettes. That's my jewelry on the table. Yeah, I was, You know, I thought that we would find her, like, fucking somebody or with, like, another vampire, and that's what we would be having a big reaction to. But no. Dakota tried on some clothes, and that's why we're upset. And maybe she's smoking. Oh no. Oh wow. What a big betrayal. I mean, we're acting like we found our husband wearing lingerie in like an old movie or something. And we weren't like very progressive and we didn't find that acceptable. Sure, don't touch my shit, but like, this isn't such a big deal, at least for me. And I'm pretty sure, God almighty, I thought I was just being neurotic whenever I noticed something dreadfully familiar in you. I can explain. Please do explain. This isn't what it looks like. Dakota, are you single white femaling me? No, come on, no. We watched that movie together. We made fun of Jennifer Jason Leigh together. A roommate stalking and imitating her own roommate. Ha, what a concept, right? Don't be silly. Silly? I've never been this serious with you. So whenever she put on my makeup, whenever I used her as a mirror, was she always hyping me up because she wanted to live vicariously through me? Not like she can! And she's not blood bonded. And you are living in her place. And you're drinking her blood. Even if she wanted to play pretend to be you while sitting in her own bedroom, would that be such a big deal? So many little things make sense in retrospect. The little ways you kept modulating your speech after me, the weird ways our tastes were always compatible, some of your art feeling so familiar. None of it would trigger any alarms by itself, and yet... Julia, listen. I like you a bit too much, and I have absorbed some of your personality. I am terribly sorry. Like, I am not connecting the dots about how this is like a super big deal, but I suppose that's just me. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I have heard a friend say to me. Don't fucking touch me. Barely think of anything more repulsive than being put on a pedestal like this. It's like the other person is begging me to perceive them as someone worse, if not outright subhuman. Oh, it's because we hate ourselves. Alrighty then. Don't be like this, just don't. You know, this would probably be infinitely more palatable if you talk to me like a person here, not like, I don't know, your fucking mommy. You know what? Fuck you. I've been locked in this apartment by myself because of all the pandemic shit going on. It's fucked me up. I know you have it hard right now, so I didn't want to bother you. Yeah, I was counting on you to ask about how I'm feeling. Babe, how's your work-life balance? Feeling claustrophobic. Is it just me, or is our drug supply weirdly shrinking too fast? But no, you were too much of a self-centered bitch. You regularly suck me dry, and it's okay. But the moment I entertain the thought of taking something in return, I'm crossing a line. I can see Dakota's point. Oh no, I'm a member of an immortal elite secret society. It's so hard to cope, Dakota. Whenever I gracefully decide to visit our apartment, let's just do what I enjoy until the pain stops. Fuck you. Fuck you sincerely. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. There's nothing you can do but take. And you should have learned by now that just taking won't make you happy, you big dumb bitch. Stop, just... I don't know what to say. I feel disgusted, both with her and myself. That is an appropriate reaction. Stop. Dakota breaks down crying. She grabs a jacket and purse and runs out of the apartment. I don't try to stop her. I stand there for a short while in silence and then lock the door. Did she take her keys? I don't know. I don't know if I care. I desire it for someone else, not for myself. For a way to open a different world, not get locked back into mine. I collapse under the soft bed. I smell her perfume. I always liked it, but now it makes me slightly nauseous. Try not to think of Dakota. I think of Kaiser. I think of Kadir. I think of Calgan. No matter what I think of, I sense doom. I feel like I've just sealed my fate, whatever it may be. Everything fucking sucks. Back into the void, back into the void, back into the void. The void is a very good place to be when you're a Lasombra. For me, it always starts with an image. An image which might be vaguely eerie or interesting, but usually not an image which would provoke particularly strong feelings by itself. Usually it hides a mystery, that much is correct. And that mystery doesn't exist without a text, or more specifically a context. Context is everything. One way or another, you need to process that you're looking at. Maybe the context will be something you heard or overheard. Maybe, although it's quite rare and pretty special, it will be your very own creative, captivating, complete interpretation. A ghost of an idea. Hello, King Madag. I don't blame you. It's like past 4 AM in here. Have a good night. And yeah, hope to see you again very soon. Is this a half-forgotten memory of something unspeakably beautiful I will never ever see again? Just a scene from a movie, a fragment of a music video, an animation? Or maybe this really is the last thing Calgan ever saw in his own life. Warm sunbeams caressing his skin and turning it to ash, a giant ball of fire engulfing his body in flame from 93 million miles away? Was he terrified? Was he grateful? There's no will, no suicide, no nothing. Instead, we can only count on what the local historians will write, presumably leaning their biases shape their narrative one way or another. What am I looking at here? Horrible, laughable hall of mirrors? Creep whom I never ever want to see again, a vampire much more desirable than myself? Maybe someone who loved taking care of me and deserved to be cared for in return. Funny thing, whenever I was high as a kite, mentally lost in dimensions parallel to ours, she was my anchor. Our shared history, my feelings for her were an anchor. Matthew McConaughey, returning to his estranged daughter from the other side of the cosmos, from beyond the event horizon, guided by nothing but love. Well, hello, husband! It's late at night, we're changing the meaning of everything that we read, and I'm sniffing a candle. Then again, whenever I get back to planet Earth for a week or two, I was haunted by a memory of that affection. I was their best possible version of myself towards her. But that haunting always refused to transfigure into something real. What gradually took its place were angry, disappointed thoughts, and amongst them one thought that I was always trying to suppress. I need someone who would know how to raise me up spiritually, but all I have is a sycophant who's always working her ass off to lift me up without understanding what I need. It's hurting us both. Having these words pop up in my head hurt me because they had a ring of truth to them, but also because I knew there must be another narrative, a better narrative. I was just too stupid to find it. Story of my life, story of my own life. Still have no idea what I think about this city. I had this best city in the world phase, I had this just a playground for wealthy fucktards phase. Now I'm in search of a better description. One day probably I will stumble upon like a piece of writing or prestigious TV show scene that will contain just that, and suddenly I will look at this place with new eyes. Or maybe I won't. It's like the frustrations I had back in Lodestar. All those words constantly trailing behind reality, trapping you in useless mindsets instead of bringing enlightenment. Fuck all those flashy writers whose main concern is furthering their own brand. Douchebags who present you with limited, pathetic, depressing realities where they are kings. Fuck them all to hell. We need words that will paint a brighter future before our eyes. But what if that can't be done without reinterpreting the past first? What if we haven't even defined the ills and threats correctly? Once again, my thoughts return to the same visual that has been tormenting me for almost every waking moment of the past week. Senseless demise devoid of any context, a crime scene strip of evidence, an image created by an unknown artist designed to leave you dumbfounded. The investigation is over, all possible avenues explored, and all the non-testimonies are in, no concrete evidence found. The play is almost complete, the actor is ready to leave the stage. It is what it is. I failed as a detective, maybe though no fault of my own, but again, it is what it is. This case, this scene, this picture never needed an investigator. From what I understand, all the people in charge ever wanted was a talented writer. What if a ghost of an idea? When I wake up, Dakota is still not here. I don't know how to feel about that, so I just don't. Kadir hasn't left any messages by the door, still mad, huh? He will probably appeal to the court to take me off the case, and if half of the garbage Kaiser was spouting is correct, he shouldn't have much of a trouble convincing everyone. Look in the mirror and stare at my warped non-reflection. This place is upsetting. You need a change of scenery, girl. And now that it's the pandemic, you can't go to BBB's finally, so maybe you will find a space that is far more sensible. Try atop of a building. Pretty places, pretty vampiric places, pretty places that you can't get into as a human. Something to inspire you. Yeah, she will go to the mall. Nope, we're just gonna be emo. The depressing streets of lockdown New York City will do. Think of God. Maybe that's why I have consciously picked the cathedral as my destination. I hate because Benoit is there. Benoit. I'm sorry, Benoit. I think of the silver cross adorning my chest, an empty signifier. Whenever someone asks me why I wear it, they hear a different story. I think of these silhouettes that I keep spotting from the corner of my eye. No, I don't even want to imagine what that means. I feel what it means. It makes me nauseous enough. Think of my clan so closely tied to the Catholic Church. It's a loveless marriage, so to speak, like, for example, the one between my parents. Oh, okay. Parent talk. That's... She has internalized trauma in ways that begin at her loveless parent marriage, apparently. Effectively, what I'm saying is that by this point in her life, it should not be affecting her. I probably would end up in the middle of a field somewhere because I like nature. I think about the great irony of the Lasombra's truce with the Holy See. We are the only ones who stay so close to the Lord's light, even though we're certain we will never ever reach it. Some of us shadows have visions of comrades who departed this world recently, traveling through some abstract space, one that's disturbing and astonishing in equal measures. They almost reach whatever afterlife there is for our kind, but then get caught and consumed by a dark, monstrous silhouette. The rumor is our antediluvian wasn't stopped by his final death. He's still out there behind the shadows, taking revenge for our patricide, feeding on us like a Saturn devouring his children. How about the fact that your antediluvian is likely not dead at all? As Dakota would say, it might not be factual, but it is an emotional truth. From joining the Camarilla to panically scrambling for any safe house, it's like our elders are solely motivated by fear. Elders! The truly old Lasombra still stayed in Sabbat, by the way. Sins of our fathers are catching up with them, and it's young kindred like me who are given responsibility to clean up their mess with the constant sense of doom looming over the horizon. That is just the unlife in general, like you become really paranoid for some really bizarre reason. We don't talk about salvation anymore, we're just minimizing the impact of damnation. That's no way to live, but then again, maybe that's why they call it unlife. You know, it's funny. There's like a branch of Lasombra in Islam, because I'm in Lore by Night Discord, and somebody wrote up all of the kindred that are following Islam and that are in the Middle East, and effectively all the major clans have like their own branch, except for Tremere. Tremere like universally hated there, so they're not welcome. Lasombra have their place, and unlike in like the Catholic Church where they're the rulers, they're a true believer and they're the first clan to join there. And apparently they have quite a bit of kinship between the clans over there and just handled the situation a lot better until the fucking war came into their territory. And now they're all committing atrocities and feeling quite bad about it. So there's like a group of Lasombra that actually found peace in religion, but it wasn't Christianity, which is really weird. Oh yeah, a lot of really old Lasombra just, they're just out there doing their own thing. Because even the Lasombra in the friggin' Muslim faith in the Middle East, they were started by an unfulfilled Lasombra that went to the Middle East to prove himself by taking control of yet another religion, and then the religion took control of him instead. Shit, it's Benoit. Yeah, see? Don't go to the church. Hello there, lost sheep. I'll have you know the shepherd was extraordinarily patient in waiting for you. What are you doing here while the night is so young? Out for blood? Well, you're in luck. This place offers both body and blood. Is it the shape of crackers? Is it in the shape of crackers and wine? Because we can't eat that. Missionaries learned their methods from pickup artists. They would be all like this guy. I'm not in the mood, you sorry-ass bum. Step the fuck away from me or you're gonna be sorry. Oh my, something's troubling you? If so, I can arrange a confession. Or if you're in a hurry, keep in mind the path from inner turmoil begins with a friendly ear. And I've got one right here. Can I slap it? Kurva jabana tvoya. You want me to fuck you up, don't you? Don't you? Julia, as you shall know by now, I always interpret this kind of response to preaching the divine as the devil stirring inside. The devil is chill, mind you. Get off his case. Is that what it is, Julia? The liar and the father of lies got hold on your soul? If so, give me a signal, even the smallest one. I'll do my best to spot it. The handbrake just broke and I'm definitely not on level ground. Fuck, here we go. Listen, I had enough, okay? Alright? Enough. Enough of your sanctimonious attitude, enough of your brazen lack of basic empathy, enough of your dumb, ugly fucking mug. Your fucking singularity of stupidity, tastelessness, and cringe. I've met all sorts of horrible shitheads and assheads this week, and somehow none of them got under my skin the way you do, you motherfucker. Like a goddamn Jehovah's Witness going from door to door, except you're always knocking on my fucking skull going, hey, do you know God exists? Have you heard that God exists? Like, hold on, hold it right there. When did I ever say that God exists? What? I said, what makes you believe? What makes you think I believe God exists? Oh, now you're just fucking with me. No, I'm serious. I think there's been some sort of silly misunderstanding that desperately needs to be cleaned up. Okay, I'm all ears. So am I, Julia. So am I. I sure hope so, Julia. I feel like you must have ignored half of what I've been saying for you to reach these conclusions. So to avoid any further mix-ups, I will go back to the beginning and explain the core my religious beliefs, okay? So, I love the Catholic imagery. I cherish the tradition and lore. I adore the practices, the intricacies of the theology. The theology, there we go, that's the word I was looking for. The messages contained in the Bible, of course I do. Does that mean I believe that one day I will see Big Dad in the sky? Forgive me, Lord, but I don't think so. Doesn't sound very likely, especially for a bloodthirsty creature of the night. So that's what this is about, fun imagery? That's overly simplified, but yes, I suppose you could say that. Motherfucker, you ain't Catholic, you're just weirdo cosplayer. Says a non-practitioner who still wears the cross. Yeah, but I don't shove it down people's throats for fun in my spare time. I'm simply trying to share the joys of religion has brought to my own life with others. What joys? Oh, where to start? There are so many. The joy of having plainly understandable rules to follow. The joy of having structure to your life. The joy of always knowing where to find people who share your values. Above all, it's the joys of being an aristocracy, surrounding ourselves with exquisite, luxurious architecture, beautiful classical music, ornate rituals formalizing our actions and relationships, a pursuit of virtue separating you from the masses, the hierarchies, the communities, all serving an idea greater than themselves. It's like monarchy or some Camarilla traditions, but not as goish. So that's what it was. You saw pretty paintings and buildings and thought, hell yeah, I want in. And then you just decided what they mean to you? Oh, don't get me wrong, it's real faith that brought me to the fold, but eventually I whittled down this religion to its core. That's what interests me. Unbelievable. Gosh. Gosh, okay. Goshush. But, that is actually very Toreador Benoit. He adapted a religion because it's pretty. He is... If if Benoit was played by a real human being, like at a tabletop, I would actually be like, hats off to you. You did Toreador pretty accurately. So... But don't think for a second I wasn't empathetic when I was trying to convert you. You are the embodiment of existential despair surrounding us. The one that people usually try to drown out with drugs, sex, work, Netflix, pick your poison. All of them. Temporary copes. Empty yourself. Kill your ego. Get a routine. Join a community. Ground your morality in something tangible. Start perceiving yourself as a part of something greater. All of it good advice by itself, but codified in an appealing otherworldly aesthetic. One that keeps the beast at bay. One you're almost fitting into the way you are. What's there to hate? Unbelievable, you're a goddamn lunatic. Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. Stop that, your entire ideology is just aesthetics, you fucking loon. And how exactly do I differ from anyone else nowadays in this regard? Stop arguing semantics. No, you stop, just look at yourself, a privileged burnout who refuses to invest herself in anything. Only started committing to anything when, for once in your own life, you were forced into a politically charged, dangerous task. Once it's over, you'll be back to being a nameless brat. Ever since World War II, I've been watching every person and every ideal I carried about wither and disappear. That's the source of my pain. That's the reason I am what I am. The source of your pain, a thing that defines you, people have been mean to you. Fuck off! People in third world countries keep their heads high while suffering from every sort of horror that you have a complete mental breakdown every time you remember your mommy issues. Wow, classic. Oh, don't act like you have the high ground here, you oblivious sadist. All I'm saying is everyone has a different framework, different lens to view they're suffering through. I agree with both Benoit and Julia over here. Julia is a brat. She is pretty aimless, and she's very emo. At the same time, what she said is also correct. Of everyone has a different kind of framework. Let's say that you're living off disability benefits in UK, which is hard to do. And you're barely living. But you're alive, you have food. It might not be nice, it might not be fun, but you're alive, you have food. And you're probably kind of miserable. I mean, if you're not, then hats off to you, but you're probably kind of miserable. You're like, this is very sad. I am disabled. I live on disability benefits. I barely have enough to survive. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything fun. Is this what my life is like? And then somebody comes in and goes, think of all the starving and dying children in third world countries that don't even have what you have. It's like, that is correct. That does not make me feel any better. That does not make my life any less shit. I have a right to complain. Of course, these things, they have like limits. You get to a point where your complaints become existential or really minute. But two people can have their lives suck in completely different ways. That is correct. Yes, and if there's one thing abandoning your humanity should have shown you, it's that kind frameworks are not enough. Petty vendetta, childish romances, pointless power struggles, dumb gamble that's chasing a successful career, mommy and daddy issues, sure, why not? Pain and pleasure dictate everything. Everyone wants something bigger than this. They want to escape from this drudgery. They want psychedelia. They want permanent. They want to stare at God's face, even if he does not exist. And you can show them how. Accept the cross you're wearing into your heart, Julia. Accept it. Just accept it. Alright, this will be enough, Benoit. Father, What are you doing here so early? You two are arguing so loudly I have come out to check. Even if with all the panic on TV these days, simply walking outside feels like marching in a war zone. Yeah, I'm sorry. You should be. I was willing to turn a blind eye to your quirks because I believe you have your heart in the right place mostly, but I'm very disappointed in the way you approach folks in need. But I was just trying to guide her to set her on the right path. I know, Benoit, I know. The problem is the sacristy is open. Please head there right now. We need to have a long talk. Get me some coffee if you wish, but Benoit... I feel sorry for him. Keep hoping he might find some basic empathy through faith, but all I've done thus far is let him leave you at the end of your tether. Yeah, that's some faith he has. Are you okay with all that bullshit he's spouting? I don't exactly support it, but I don't reject it. It's like attrition and contrition. Imperfect and perfect repentance, you know? One is focused on the relationship with God, the other selfish and focused on personal gain, but both of them work. Yeah, but doesn't this strike you as completely missing the point? A bit, but purely secular takes on Christ's teachings are nothing new. Pascal's wager is a boring example, but have you by any chance read Bulgakov's The Master and Margarita? Sure, back in Poland, every teen trying to look intellectual online loved to repeat that joke about the talking cat who swears he never poured vodka for a lady because women deserve pure alcohol. That's one takeaway from that novel, I suppose. I read it as a moving depiction of Christ who's not a divine being, stripped of mystic qualities but open for transcendence. Jesus and Satan understood as powerful forces battling within us. Stop with your good versus evil dichotomy. It's actually getting on my nerves. Would have to read it again. It's been too long. Sounds nice though. Julia, 4 hours from now, there's going to be a meeting in the Elysium, the big finale of Celebrations of Power. Everyone will be there, but they were counting on you to not show up. The good sheriff plans to present the results of the investigation in your stead. It's a simple, crude strategy. Might work, but begs to be countered with an outrageous tactic. Take it as you will. The game is about to end. Eh? Oh, don't ask me, I'm just a messenger. Who relayed this message to you then? A good friend. A cautious friend. Wouldn't be able to tell you more than that even if you forced me to. Well, shit. This is the moment that might decide the rest of my days. What would you do in my place, Father? When I was faced with a dilemma that would shape the rest of my life, the world felt too big and scary and impossible to understand, so I simply escaped from that choice into the seminary. Yeah, if that's your idea of good advice, I'm gonna have to ask you to shove it. I would expect nothing less. Don't you regret it? Regret what? Kind of shady, but don't seem like a bad guy. Still, you have to accept that people above you are responsible for some horrible things. If your superior's acts count as your own sins, then on the face of it, probably half the people in this world are irredeemable. Clever, but not a real answer, and being a low-level grunt for assholes you find wholly objectionable is no way to live. I don't know, is it? I have to go. Don't know if and when we'll see each other again, but when that happens, it probably won't be the same old me. Of course, but before I leave to scold Benoit, let me say one more thing, yeah? These are difficult times. My parishioners keep calling me. The things people are going through they might never admit, but if this keeps up, it will cause horrifying, invisible damage to this nation. Dreadful darkness is killing us all little by little, and like every powerful evil, manifests itself little by little. And yet, sinful as it may be, I confess being strangely excited. For a moment, we're seeing the suffocating normal disappear. This is the time to dream a new world is possible. Walk these empty streets, Julia. Remember how the city feels right now. Bask in its shadows and uncertainties. After the apocalypse comes the great rebirth. The Amici Noctis await your next report with great curiosity. I kinda understand our father over here, honestly. And it's once again something that I was talking with my nice energy worker portrait maker today. She said that something inhuman in her was very gleefully happy about the current events. It was like, didn't people learn anything from the last 100 years? Don't we learn? And you have weird thoughts pass through your head. That was her weird thoughts. I came alive during the pandemic. I changed me. I am happier now. The horrible uncertainty probably made people sell this apartment, which we bought. And that's where we live now. So I have a place of my own to live in. And I'm decorating it in a way that I normally wouldn't dare to decorate. It's entirely mine, and I couldn't be happier. I like this new me. And I built this new me during a really dark time. But the normalcy was destroyed. So I was like, fuck it. Let's go with it. And I am happy that I did. I can see his point. Hey Moon, my lone constant companion. When I moved here for good from, the old country, you were the only close friend who kept me company. Don't be friends, Space Rocks! Never felt in the right place back there, never felt in the right place here, especially now when I'm not quite alive, not quite dead, not that Slavic, not that American. But maybe it's about time I finally carve out some space for myself. It's been a long road, hasn't it? Wish me luck. Catch him in front of the art hole, because of course he has to be the first person I meet there. No way! No, 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 no. I'm gonna be the laughing stock of the entire city if I don't show up to the resolution of my own investigation. How about you demonstrate a modicum of courtesy? Courtesy? Girl, I should put you on trial. I can't guarantee I eventually won't. You messed with Kaiser, the eminence Christ of the city, beaten him to a pulp like a random goon. He will do everything he can to destroy you from now on, and my bet is he'll succeed. Whatever will be, will be. For now, at the very least, I would like to show the court that I'm not a baby fledgling who can't see a task was given to end. You're making a huge mistake. How did you even learn this meeting is happening in the first place? Maybe I'm not as trash as an investigator as you thought I was. Never said. You're showing it. It's not a fair assessment. I wanted to finish this whole mess myself for your own good. It would be nice if you asked what I think next time. Fine, but you will stay quiet the whole time. No tricks, ifs, or buts. But of course, this way. The celebrations of power are almost over. Everyone is back to their usual respective styles again, looking weary of each other's company, trapped in their own little worlds. I hope that they have more than 2 outfits, and I'm pretty sure that that's a ghost. The art hall is nearly empty now, and Kadir is gently strong-arming the last remaining nobodies into leaving the premises. Eventually, only me and select few New York Camarilla VIPs remain. Ah, Miss Savinsky barely made it, huh? The asshole with the glued-on smile spots me first, and he's just as authentically enthused to see me as ever, so he finally showed his face around here. Wasn't sure if you would join us tonight. Kadir made this meeting sound like a one-man show. The preparations took me a bit longer than I thought they would. I apologize. Are you by chance planning to surprise us with something? Well, if I was planning something, it wouldn't be a surprise if I told you now, would it? Can I have everybody's attention, please? We're about to begin. Exciting! Is everyone present? Present. Accounted for. My prince. Yes, before we begin, let me welcome an unusual guest to our fold. Name's Stork. I'm the Baron of the Bronx. Was delegated here by my compatriots as an authority. I'm here to observe the results of the investigation, nothing more, nothing less. Let me stress this one last time. This is a one-time occurrence meant to alleviate the tensions in the city, not a symbol of mutual recognition. Not in the slightest. Yeah, not in the slightest, my ass. You're all in cahoots with one another, which is honestly not the worst thing to do. Like, you're all keeping the peace that you wanted to keep, which is great. Clap, clap, clap. You're actually working together, and that is a good thing. And, Sophie Langley wanted to upset that. Even if he's fine with it, the prince must have been extremely convincing about the necessity of a temporary truce, or about some machiavellian tactic she got ready up her sleeve. Who knows? Of course, we might have irreconcilable differences, but there are times they have to be temporarily put aside in order to quell unrest and open paths for constructive, meaningful change. If anyone would like to voice their concerns, the time is now. A stick or a carrot, Torque? What made you break and sell your compatriots? How much do you really know? If not, Kadir, may I? First, let me plainly state that the conclusion I'm going to present is by no means my own achievement. It is the result of a tireless investigation conducted by a talented kindred I won't name here. A telling glance in Torque's direction serves as a succinct explanation for why he refuses to call them by their names. And of course, Julia Savinsky, whose ceaseless groundwork over the past few nights served as foundation for the findings that are about to be revealed here. Thank you, Julia. It's not the first time he sets out to oversell my achievements. As the sheriff, my role here is mostly representative. I spent the last few days overseeing the celebrations in Elysium, making sure no harm would befall anyone present. Luckily, none did. Last few days, Kadir? I think you mean nights. Looks like the prince's decision to move forward with the event was the correct one. And for that, we should extend our thanks to Kadir, and let's us not overlook our guests to a degree. I managed to convince my key allies that diplomatic action is the only way forward in this case. No matter how wrong-headed the enemy can be, we still need avenues to negotiate and communicate. Spare us the empty pleasantries and let Kadir move on. I don't have all night for this. I am surprisingly here with Eiling, mostly because I know that all of you fuckers are in cahoots with one another, and I hate pointless posturing. Right, I'll be concise. Douglas' boss Callaghan's remains were found in his office by one of his ghouls first thing in the evening. First kindred to confirm was another Anarch Baron Torque present here. A mystery book author would refer to the circumstances of Callaghan's death as a classic closed-room mystery. The metal door locked from the inside served as the sole way in. There was no murder weapon, no useful testimonies, and the evidence was, how do I put it, barely circumstantial at best. What was left for us was one hell of a puzzle. One where the answer couldn't ever be approached using the tried and tested question, cui bono? Which I think he means who did it. We were presented with a poorly timed power upheaval, a tense situation where a long-planned celebration was in danger. Suddenly all of us were faced with an uncertain future. Everybody benefited, yet nobody did. No one was especially fond of Callaghan, but it's not like anyone seemed particularly keen on removing him from the equation, especially at this time. For a moment, we were sure that this was the beginning of an offensive on the part of the Camarilla. We started wondering just how violent our retaliation should be. And as for us, we were momentarily convinced that the Anarchs were plotting to blame us for their own internal power struggles, a tense situation resolved only thanks to skillful and swift diplomacy. Dare I say, on another victory for a talented prince. Julia made sure to examine all the contacts Callaghan might have had in his last days in both sects. Her efforts were tireless, only rarely misguided. But as inexhaustive as they might have been, they only served to muddle the possibilities, not explain them. Calgan has a lot of enemies, but they were the most infuriating kind of enemies one can have, folks who barely even thought of him anymore. In other words, no one really had a particular interest in getting rid of him, because they could always simply work their way around him. Just before last Christmas, he even witnessed the first ever successful light raid against his extremely profitable blood trade supply lines. The lone ace up his sleeve, a downright shady ability to perfectly maneuver around the OSI activities, gone. Kagan's decline was apparent to all, and the domino effect made his empire slowly crumble. Up until recently, he's done an admirable job keeping up with all the times and getting away with murder, but suddenly all of the prison spotlights were on him. The recent stories we hear about him all depict a depressed, downright manic recluse, lashing out at everybody, struggling and utterly falling to fit into the new reality he found himself in. Closed room, no evidence of struggle, a lack of strong whodunits, the corpse being found in the very early evening hours, the conclusion is simple. Kagan's final death was self-inflicted suicide, to put it in simple terms. Come on! Stupid voice box, god damn it, it just goes and dies sometimes. So, wow, that's really the angle that they're pushing, isn't it? Let's hear it, Sharp. I will explain. It was an independent detective who first set me on this theory only last night. There's no suicide note of any kind, of course, but the message of our recently departed has sent might not have been necessarily a verbal one. The peculiar thing was the position of the body. It was like an arrow pointing us to notice or something. It appears the last thing Kagan saw in his own life was a portrait of Lord Castlereath. Okay, now we get history on Castlereath again. Some call him a tragic figure holding together selfish allies against a common threat. Not hard to see why Douglas Callaghan would emphasize. Indeed, especially when you realize that the sickness in his blood, his failures, the hatred from his own people, and growing paranoia led him to commit a dramatic suicide within his own four walls. I see. The assumption is instead of stabbing himself to death with a knife or a pen, he decided to let the sun embrace him in its warmth, Castlereath's face burning into his eyes, a poetic final death. It's not a closure we might have wanted, but probably the best explanation of his motivation that we're gonna get. Does everybody follow? To me, it's all perfectly understandable, agreeable, and most importantly, to fit the man I've come to understand over the last 2 decades. Agreed, and I might add, there were some irregularities in the handling of the crime scene, but Anarch's leader's findings suggested Kagan's resentful ghouls were to blame. Folks have been real happy to see him dead and all saying, and they went overboard with the celebrations. You all have been interrogated, though. Yes, I have received all the resulting intel, and it's done nothing to change my mind. The depictions of Kagan's state of mind only serve to support the suicide theory. It is my suggestion that we all announce these findings to our respective communities first thing tomorrow night. Sounds reasonable, and I think that concludes the meeting. I'll let the Keeper of Elysium do the honors. No time wasted, huh? Alright, does anyone have anything to add? Any questions to ask? Take your time. Silence. Look at everyone just sitting it out in perfect agreement. Congrats, everyone! Congrats us! We achieved a perfect victory. No loose ends, no rocking the boat, no nothing. Makes you want to puke. How many of them contributed to this final report? How strongly does Kadir believe this shit running from his own mouth? He's always been a Camarilla, a loyalist, a fanatic even. Miss Julia, any final statements? This is it, now or never. If anyone can blow this pathetic charade wide open, it's me. There's no coming back from this road, and it's at a cost. Spend all of my life and unlife on social climbing, and the sunken cost fallacy is kicking in. Challenging them here might be the only way of ever making it out of the pit I'm in. On the other hand, maybe this is my time to head into the unknown, kill my ego, at least temporarily. Shut up, the voice of the elder screaming in my head, betray Lasombra instincts. Make all these ghosts go away and figure out something new, no matter how scary it might be. Do I dare? Or maybe I don't. I feel like there's an incredible prize to be won waiting right in front of me if I just dare to take out this revolver with a single bullet I have hidden on me. And invite everyone here for a crazy game of Russian roulette! Oh! What do we do? What are we gonna do? Because, We did raid the friggin' vault, and I'm kind of wondering what was in Callaghan's vault because the game never told us. The thing is, they're all completely complicit with this as well. In the end, did Callaghan think all of the splendor of the Golden Era was worth this pathetic end? It's like there are two selves battling for dominance inside of me. One of them has to die, the other one gets to live. Honestly, it's a flip of the coin. Reflecting all of the kindred I met, lessons I've learned, choices I've made over the past few nights to make a decision. And then feeling like I'm simply following the way I conducted this investigation to its logical conclusion, I respond, "No, nothing. Kadir has done an excellent job of summing up the entire case." A barely detectable tension in the air disappears. This was the first time they might have had to reckon with something I said, but luckily for them, turns out they won't. Well, looks like that's all, folks. Yeah, looks like it. Excellent. I might be going now then. Places to be, kindred to see. Took the words right out of my mouth. You can see it in some of their faces. Everyone is happy. Samira will escort Mr. Torque out. Me and Thomas will have to appease Mr. Payne for disrupting this sanctity of the Elysium. Certainly right this way. Tomorrow night we'll be back to being enemies, of course. Of course. Isn't that just what you wanted to hear, Addison? Oh, spare me the condescension, Helene. During the commotion, I'm approached by Kadir, who looks me in the eye and makes a show of exhaling deeply. I have to go and see everyone back to safety now, but thank you for not pulling any stupid tricks. I really appreciate it. Who do you think I am? Someone else, and I apologize for that. Sometimes you just see something and completely misinterpret it. We'll think about how to handle the future, particularly the Kaiser issue tomorrow, right? If I'm even here tomorrow. See you then. Aren't they a happy bunch? All well that ends well. People were getting nervous, like you had really had some good cards to play. You're a poker player. Occasionally. It's a very socialite thing to do. Played with Jennifer Tilly once. Must be easy to keep your poker face with, you know. I know, it does help. And you do seem to know a lot about the cards other people are holding. Like all great games, poker does share some principles, lessons, and necessity skill sets with real life. I found a file about you in Kaiser's car. Seems like he's worried about you. The only unpredictable variable in these equations. Ah! See, that's the one card I didn't predict you drawing. Speaking of not predicting anything, when I was waking up tonight, I didn't expect a good friend would provoke me into coming here. Who might that have been? Not a lot of people in this room had an inclination to act friendly towards me in any way whatsoever. Joe looks like someone made a risky play. Even great players make dangerous plays sometimes, you know why? No idea. Boredom! It's boredom that gets you. Even when you love the game, there's always the fear that it might turn into a perfectly predictable series of optimal plays. You're not really Katherine Wise, are you? I don't know who else it could be. Let me phrase it differently then. You're not Ekaterina the Wise, the agitator of Prague, a Bruja elder causing turbulences all over the world, are you? That file must have been pretty thorough. Kaiser knows what he's doing. That's why I'm afraid of what he might do to me to get revenge. Rightfully so. Maybe I'll help him out in exchange for a favor. Snuff out a Lasombra meddler, strike a partnership, promise to keep each other in check. That was a joke. It wasn't very funny, and just so you know, I've made precautions. It was a bluff. Honestly, I expected more of a reaction. Kaiser's documents, did they mention anything about Ostrava? They say that's where you were born, as Hanna Urbanova. Was unlucky enough to immigrate to New York City at the perfect age, and with a pretty accent approximating that of Ekaterina. Honestly explains a lot. Kadir told me that Eiling once organized a blood hunt after Katherine, Ekaterina, that she was both a liability and too intertwined with city's history to give up on her. The solution, you! You were deemed the best possible compromise, but all the parties involved. The particulars aren't really described. It is theorized that blood magic was used, maybe flesh grafting. I do remember a few images. Accomplice's embrace, Christoph, the man who caught me, apologizing that others broke my jaw, as if he wasn't to blame, violent brainwashing. But what is done is done. I might not be Katerina the Wise, but I'm definitely Katherine Wise now. I feel as good about the situation as I probably can. He's the brooding Batman and you're the fun-loving Bruce Wayne? Zorro and Diego de la Vega? Something like that. A debutante who sleeps a lot and parties a lot. Only has to do something unpleasant from time to time. Do you hate her? Sometimes, but I mostly pity her. I come to accept my fate and I don't even feel much trauma when I see my jaw in the mirror. The way she does. Some pig broke hers centuries ago and she still relives that assault every time she catches a glimpse of her own face. All that power, all that reach, all those appearances, still not enough. Don't get me wrong, but is there a point to all these questions? Oh, there definitely is. I think it was reading your file that made me ultimately decide upon turning this investigation upside down. Was this now? An immigrant from Eastern Europe comes to New York City, takes the position she always expected to find herself in, molded into someone who's no longer herself. The story struck a chord. Felt like you were, maybe ever so slightly, pushing me to follow your way, to lose myself in a position of a considerable power. I could see Julia Savinsky sharing Hanna Urbanova's fate, and to be honest, it scared the shit out of me. Funny, Ostrava is just 15 kilometers away from Poland's border. I know. Think I've been there once when I was a kid. Parents love to travel. Who doesn't? All of these long-established organizations, with time, their practices always degenerate, start draining everything out of the participants, turn into a cycle of abuse aimed at no one in particular. Funny thing is, if the victims aren't allowed the positions where they can perpetuate the abuse, they feel the abuse is aimed specifically at them. There's no winning move here. You understand what I'm trying to say? I think you're making excuses for yourself? I take a drag of the cigarette she took from me earlier. My inner grade schooler excitedly informs me it's an indirect kiss. Let's walk outside and eat a close-up shot. Dawn's almost here and we still need to talk about how to get you out of Kaiser's grasp. So I hear you've been living with a human? Yeah, it didn't work out. Oh, and why is that? Turns out he's been single white femaling me. I don't follow. I come home, I find her wearing my clothes, smoking my cigarettes, pretending to be me, the creepiest thing in the world. So you find that pretending to be someone else is the creepiest thing in the world. I see how it is. Oh, piss off, that's a low blow. Why would she do that? No idea, I just yelled at her and saw her running out. She's probably back home now. I hope no, I don't know. No, it looks bad, but maybe you should just, ask her why she did it, and then make an informed decision. What are you talking about? That would be reasonable. I don't do that. That might just be Ekaterina speaking, but I was thinking about you two and Carthage. Everyone is arguing with her about the name. Some people claim it was too much historical baggage. It's a myth, it didn't work. It was still vampires taking advantage of humans, but it's still a beautiful dream. And you two are like the embodiment of it. You mean the apocryphal story where Carthage was not destroyed because of Romans were greedy for land, but because kindred and kind coexisted there in harmony? That's a pretty deep cut, How long ago were you embraced again? Been reading a lot to catch up. The inner journalist / former copywriter in me still refuses to die. Again, it might as well be Katerina speaking, sending you to die for her pipe dream, but that's the best option I can think of to get you from here with a goal in mind. I'm listening. Head for the Anarch-free state of California. Look for a man called Giles. If you're alone, you might have to do a lot to prove yourself. If you're with your friend, you might have to do a little less. If you succeed, you will be able to fight for the noble cause of establishing New Carthage. It's hopeless, but no matter what tough act Kadir is putting on, still better than waiting for Kaiser to act. Might as well give it a shot then, see what's next, thank you. Don't thank me, you idiot, I'm sending you to the West Coast to die, just so that you're not here to blabber about me to Kaiser and so that I can please my boss. Now scram, the sun's almost up. Sure, thank you nonetheless, even if just to piss you off some more. Anything else I should know? Don't exactly know how practicing you are. Not even Father Leonard knows, but in our peril, keep St. Jude, the patron saint of desperate cases, in mind. Not even religious, I mean really, but in my darkest hours, someone told me to keep him in mind. Maybe I wouldn't be here if he didn't. Yeah, I know of St. Jude. In happier times, Mom used to joke he was the patron saint of her sex life. I see. Fellow Catholic guilt survivor her, the classic Eastern European upbringing. Not admitting to anything. Stay safe, Katherine, and thank you. See you again someday somewhere, Julia. Although, probably not. Hey! We're getting the bad ending. We're getting out of here. We're abandoning everything that our sire sacrificed for by embracing us. And we're heading towards Anarch Free States. To be an Anarch Lasombra, which sounds horrible. Because it kinda is. It kinda is, but at the same time, we get to know that the person walking around here was indeed not Katherine Device, but a flesh-crafted body double. Even better, likely flesh-crafted by Eiling. As in, she either did that with ritual magic, or she has connections with this Mitzi. Whew! New York is all sorts of levels of fucked. Hey. Where were you? I was finishing my big investigation. So how was it? Fucked it up, big time, didn't even put up a fight. Don't tell me you expected anything different. I did actually used to be a shining example of an investigative journalist. Maybe I never felt comfortable being an example. I'm not happy with who I am. Jesus, you're really copying me in every damn aspect, aren't you? Fuck you, I'm being serious. I know, I'm not trying to be an asshole, rather trying not to be an asshole. We really are two leeches who got stuck to each other, huh? Like a two-person human centipede loop or something. An Ouroboros or an Mobius strip. You're an extremely good-looking, kind, endlessly energetic. You've got a steady job as an artist and an even steadier influx of cash. Why would you want to be someone else? You're an extremely good-looking, clever, talented as fuck, immortal and eternally young. But you still have that horribly deep well of self-loathing within you for some godforsaken reason. It fucks me up as much as it does you. Yeah, I get it, but single white female? It was an impulse. It was the first time I did it, I swear. Didn't know what got into me. That timing was just fuck. Maybe I just wanted to see if I can be a better you than you. Don't know, maybe I need therapy. But I'm tired of looking for the kind of therapy that feels like it works and it's not just brainwashing me. I choose to believe she's not lying. What do I have to lose? I think I want to give it one more shot. Do you? Yeah, I think so. There's one condition though. What condition? Told you I fucked up my investigation, but not how badly. Well, looks like I'm no longer safe in New York. Need to run first thing tomorrow evening, and the only way out that I see is a bunch of loons living on the west coast who are trying to bring about a utopia where humans and vampires could coexist. It's probably even more dangerous than staying here, to be honest, not to mention how dangerous it could be for you, and I haven't even figured out how we are going to get there safely, but yeah, I'm beyond tired and sitting on my ass collaborating with monsters. It's the first page of the second chapter. This is a lot to take in, I know, but I think I'm in. I know I'm in. You got a future, got rich parents, you don't have to do this. In case you missed it, having rich parents is like goddamn, I don't know, original sin in my book. Don't want to coast on money. I want to try doing something that fucking matters. Are you certain? About as certain as I am about the deep state exists. That's good enough for me. Off to sleep, the sun's probably already up. I'll pack up your clothes. What for? Are you planning to unleash Dark Dakota on me again? Don't say anything. As I said, trying not to be an asshole. It's a process. Ah! My throat! So much reading. In the middle of the night. After I've already done so much talking. Day went by, and I woke up just like any other night. That was the first surprise. Dakota following through with the plan was second. We're leaving the city. Don't know about her, but I'm kind of hoping it will burn the moment we leave. Fuck all of these out-of-touch, psychotic assholes who murdered Calgan and partied on his grave all week. Fuck the opportunists who couldn't even seize the moment and do what had to be done. Fuck this temple of Mammon, where the truth is impossible to find. Fuck the Bronx, fuck Brooklyn, fuck Queens, fuck Staten Island, and fuck Manhattan. Fuck Manhattan in particular. Okay, I'm done. Probably gonna try to stop at motels, drink from truckers and hitchhikers and whatever. Exciting! We'll be like a pair of serial killers prowling America's highways. Remember Near Dark, the nomadic vampire movie? Of course I do. Is that what we're planning to do in Midwest? Maybe, maybe not, we'll improvise. Just hit me. Won't the motels and such be closed because of the virus though? Shit, I don't know. I didn't think about that. Maybe I really should have robbed the bank and just paid the circulatory system goons to smuggle us to the West Coast. Eh, whatever, it might be fun. Remember, you'll be the only one paying for everything. Don't want to expose myself to anything, and I don't want to expose anyone to anything. Seen enough shit talking online about this exodus of New Yorkers who are probably spreading that thing all around the country right now. Gotcha! Should wash the car, I think, and you'll be disinfecting yourself before any time we touch. Okay, that's just being freaky. And maybe you should wear a mask. Nope, it's the land of the free and the hope of the brave. I guess! Julia can't inhale it, you know. She could only get it through blood. In which case the masks just won't do much. Hey, yeah? You love me? Of course I do. For now at least. I still don't know if I love her. Or if I can even love anymore for that matter. I'm a fucking monster after all. Don't even know if we exist next month. The prospects are not looking good. But although I can't even see myself in the rearview mirror right now, I will remember this image of us leaving the city somewhat melancholic and somewhat hopeful forever. Maybe the meaning of this image will be clarified with time. Maybe I will just pour some more positive description onto it, and that is what I'll believe. No matter what happens, even if oceans of blood lie before us, I will make this a cherished memory. Whatever possible salvation still remains for me, probably lies in the eyes of another. And that's it, folks. And holy shit, it's late. It's like 5:30 a.m. I like the fact that in the bad ending you realize that Ekaterina device is not Ekaterina device, but just like a more convenient flesh-crafted double. Yeah, sort of controlled by the nice kindred coalition that we have living peacefully in New York. And I'm not even that mad about their politicking because once again, like I said, they actually are managing to live peacefully. Which is kinda a good thing. War bad, yo. War bad. That being said, I can see why this is the bad ending, because for one thing, you can't be very certain about how long your unlife will last. Like this, probably not super long. On the run, in Anarch states, as a Lasombra, when Camarilla Sombra are kinda already up there, now you wanna be an Anarch Lasombra, which is like even more up there. It's like #1 targets that will easily be killed. Anarch Lasombra. I didn't even think that we were gonna get this ending as well. Because quite a lot of things that we selected that we got traits from, that they were pretty dark. There's another... I do want to do another run. And I want to skip absolutely everything except for the major choices, so that we can see what differences they make. But I will try to gear them towards getting the other ending. The ending where we stay in New York and see how different that ending is. And then I'm gonna make up my mind about this game. But for now, this is gonna be it, because god damn it, my voice box is dying and it's about 5 AM. So thank you everybody for being with me up until the end of Shadows of New York. Next stream is mini run of Shadows of New York. We're just reading all the nice big choices that we can make. Yeah. And then we're still like head deep inside visual novels in World of Darkness universe, honestly, because I still have the werewolf one. And there's still Night Road, and Night Road is really good, but it's all text and no visuals. While Werewolf 1 is, well, werewolves, so we're gonna see. Myrta is gonna tackle one of those, because she wants to tackle them all. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Toodaloo.